So, due to an unfortunate priming accident, a good chunk of my Night Lord's army I have yet to paint has been completely destroyed. But upon realizing my mistake, I realized I kind of just bought stuff and didn't really think about how to put them together. So I've taken a look back and kind of been planning out a little better, my army at least. And I took a look at one particular unit, which if you read the title of the video, you probably already know what it's about. The Havocs. They're ranged heavy infantry, and that's their purpose. Now, a few things kind of stick out to me. One, you can have several units of them, but you can only have 5 a unit, which sucks. That you can't have a character leading them, like for Fabius Bile, for example, who gives you a +1 to your strength and a +1 to your toughness. You can't have him go with them. But I'm not here to talk about that stuff, rules and stuff with the Havocs. With this video, I just want to talk about some weird things with the Havoc weapons. Now, of course, it's probably been memed a good bit, the fact that you only get 1 Reaper chain cannon in there. And there's something weird going on with the champion, so I'm going to go over those things real quick. The Havoc champion. This is the guy who's leading your unit. Now, strangely enough, he doesn't have a heavy weapon. He has pistols and melee weapons. Although some of it does make sense for a Havoc champion, because instead of the traditional bolt pistol option, you have an option between a plasma pistol, a flamer pistol, and a melta pistol, which is still ridiculous that there's melta pistols, because, you know, melta guns are like anti-tank weapons. How do you conceal carry an anti-tank weapon? But I digress. The pistol choices are fine, but it's still just a pistol. It's especially odd when there's in-lore examples of normal Space Marines pulling out storm bolters, you know, the common ranged weapon of a Terminator squad, that are basically just 2 bolters stuck together, basically, and has a giant drum magazine and incredible fire rate and fires both rounds at the same time, which is incredibly cool. It would kind of make sense that a Havoc could use them, considering they're also mutated enough. Like, they're slightly larger than your average Legionnaire. But I'm pretty sure they're not as big, or especially not as bulky, as Terminators, which is kind of the point. They're an in-between, and there's a limit to them into what kind of weapons they can use, so they can just use ranged weapons. But would it make more sense to have a Storm Bolter, and like with the Terminator kit, you could have a Combi Bolter, so you could have a Melta Combi Bolter, a Plasma Combi Bolter, or a Flamer Combi Bolter, or just a Storm Bolter. I feel like that would make more sense for a heavy unit. Now on to the weirdest part of the Havoc champion, the melee weapons. I am not opposed to having melee weapons, because in 40k, there are weapons that can crack open tank holes and break down defenses. They surprisingly give you no option of any of these weapons. The only thing that is a somewhat decent weapon to have is a power maul, and it's either that or a chainsword. Don't get me wrong, I love chainswords, but chainswords are notorious for not being able to cut through armor. The biggest thing they're known for is against smaller infantry and terror tactics. Why would a Havoc, a heavy weapon specialist, be carrying around a chainsword? So I feel like one thing they could do is, there are several weapons that can fix this. One, a power fist. A power fist is meant to wear down tanks and break through fortifications. They're meant to break through tanks and fortifications. That's what they're meant for. Or maybe a chain fist. You know, the power fist variant with a chain sword that's on the bottom of it, that's being powered by the power fist's energy field, and then they're literally made to crack open tanks like they're soup cans. And yes, I say soup cans specifically so that I can force the idea into your head that chain fists, especially on Terminators, are just giant can openers. And now that you think of it like that, it's never leaving. And finally, the Thunder Hammer. The Thunder Hammer. You know, the horrifying fortification destroying, tank busting, kill everything that you hit with it weapon, which I guess makes sense why it wouldn't be on there, but that's just kind of odd. I feel like I'd rather have something like a power fist, the option of a power fist. Even if it's just the power fist and the power maul, I'm fine with that. But it just doesn't make any sense for him to be carrying around a chainsword. Now this is where we get into my main thing. I want you to think about how many weapons there are. Think about heavy weapons and tell me if you notice anything missing. Go ahead, I'll give you a couple seconds. Time's up. You see, when you think of heavy weapons, there are actually several missing from this list, which are kind of odd. The first of which being the heavy flamer. Having the word heavy in its name and not be there is kind of odd. Also, the fact that the heavy flamer is just really cool to have, like a giant mega flamethrower. It's kind of odd that it isn't in here. The multi-melta isn't here. The very powerful anti-tank weapon isn't in this heavy infantry kit. Guess what else we're missing? A plasma cannon. Yeah, that's right, a plasma cannon. So what we have here is a heavy infantry set that is missing 3 iconic heavy infantry weapons. Isn't that kind of weird that not only does the Havoc champion not have any real heavy weapons to be fit in this heavy infantry, but also the fact they're missing a couple heavy weapons? It's just kind of weird that they're missing. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Make sure to leave a like, and you enjoy the kind of videos I make. Please subscribe. It's Chaos Havocs Production. See you next time. Bye.